Hello friends, it's Miss Jamie. I'm so happy to see you today. Let's get started with our song from Miss Nancy. Remember, we're singing Pat, Pat, Pat. Here she is.
Hello, Miss Jamie. Hello, virtual preschool friends. This week we are singing Pat, Pat, Pat from Wonderful You. Pat, 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 just like that. Pat, 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 just like that. Now squeeze your feet, squeeze your feet, squeeze your feet, 'cause that feels neat. Squeeze your feet, squeeze your feet, squeeze your feet, and now we'll pat, pat, pat again. Pat, 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 just like that. Pat, 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 just like that. Now, fingers in your hair, fingers in your hair, fingers in your fingers in your fingers in your hair, fingers in your hair, fingers in your hair, fingers in your fingers in your fingers in your hair, and now we'll pat, 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 just like that. Pat, 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 just like that. Thank you for singing Pat, Pat, Pat with me. Now it's time to go back to Miss Jamie. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Miss Nancy. Will you help me wake up Betsy Blackbird? Call her 1, 2, 3. Say, Betsy, where are you? She's sleeping. Let me wake her up. Rise and shine, Betsy Blackbird. Hello, friends. Hello, friends. How are you? Hello, Betsy. How are you? Hello, Miss Jamie. How are you? We're so glad to see you. Here, here. We're all here. Here, here. We're all here. Here, here. We're all here. We're all here together. Yay! Being together is the best part of our day, right, Betsy? We love being together with you. This week when we're together, we are learning about construction. Can you say construction? Yes, a construction is how we build things, like houses and buildings. What does the building look like where you live? Here are some pictures of some different kinds of houses. Some houses are built out of bricks. Do you see this house? It has bricks and a door. It has some big windows and some smaller windows. This house has a roof and a chimney. It's made out of bricks. Here's another kind of a house. This kind of a house is called a minka. It's in Japan. And a Japanese minka stands out because look how tall and slanted those roofs are. Do you see that's a little bit different than the brick house? The roof is so tall and slanted. A Japanese minka. And here's another kind of house in a different part of the world. This kind of house is in Italy. This house is called a trullo, and it's made from stones. Do you see? Not bricks, it's made from stones. The roof of this house is shaped like a cone almost like an upside down ice cream cone. Do you see the white and gray roof on the Italian trullo? Houses can be made out of lots of different materials. They might be made out of wood or bricks or stones. We're going to tell a story today that you might know about some pigs who built their houses out of different materials. This is a fairy tale called The Three Little Pigs. This is the mama pig, and our story starts the same way that all fairy tale stories start, with these words, once upon a time. Let's tell the story of the three little pigs. Once upon a time, there was a mama pig who had 3 little pigs. The pigs were getting older, so the mother pig told them, "Little pigs, it's time for you to go out and build your own houses." So the 3 little pigs set off to go build their house. This first little pig came upon there we go, a pile of straw. And the little pig thought, "Oh, I know, I will build my house out of straw." So the little pig put some straw in a wheelbarrow to collect it all up, and lickety-split, quick as a wink, the little pig built his house out of straw. The second little pig was looking in the woods, trying to decide where to build his house, when all of a sudden he saw a pile of sticks. And this little pig thought, "I know, I will build my house out of sticks." So the little pig put the sticks in a wheelbarrow. He worked all day, and at the end of the day, he had a nice little house made out of sticks. Well, the third little pig, he really wanted to do a good job on his house. So he thought and looked and tried to figure out how he could build his house, when all of a sudden he found some bricks. And he thought, "Oh, I know, those bricks will make a really sturdy, good house for me to live in." Well, it took this little pig a very long time to build his house out of bricks. He worked very carefully, laying the foundation, making sure the walls were straight, putting extra cement so the bricks would be sturdy. And after days and days of building, this little pig had a wonderful house made out of bricks. Miss Jamie needs to move the houses over a little bit so they will all fit. There we go. Well, the little pigs were really happy with their houses, but there was someone else in the woods. It was the big bad wolf. And there's nothing in the world the big bad wolf likes more than little pigs. So the big bad wolf was walking down the path in the woods when he came upon this straw house. He knocked on the door and he said, little pig, let me come in." Woo! The little pig got scared, so he hid in the house. And he said, "Not by the hair of my chinny chin." Well, the big bad wolf didn't like that at all. He got really upset. So he said, Then I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house down. So the big bad wolf took a big breath, and he huffed, and he puffed, and he blew the house down. Whoa! Because that house wasn't very sturdy. The little pig was so scared. He ran to see his brother, and he said, "Brother, brother, hide! A wolf is coming." So the two little pig brothers hid inside the stick house. The big bad wolf crept right up to the front door. He knocked on the door and said, little pigs, let me come in." The pigs did not want the wolf to come in, so they said, "Not by the hair of our chinny chin chin." Well, the wolf got upset, so he took a big breath and he huffed and he puffed and he blew the house down. He blew that whole stick house down, and the two little pigs were so scared. They went running to their third brother and they said, "Help! Help! A wolf is coming." Well, these three pigs decided to hide inside the brick house. They shut the door and locked it tight. But it wasn't long before the big bad wolf showed up at the door. He knocked on the door and said, can you say it? Little pigs, let me come in." And the pigs shouted from the inside, "Not by the hair of our chinny chin chin." Well, the big bad wolf got upset, so he said, "Then I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house down." The big bad wolf took a great big deep breath, and he huffed, and he puffed. The house didn't move. So he took a big breath again. Can you do it? And he huffed, and he puffed, but he couldn't blow the house down. So the big bad wolf came up with an idea. He decided that he would climb up to the top of the roof and slide down the chimney. Well, the little pigs saw what he was doing, so they decided to build a fireplace inside the house. And when the big bad wolf slid down, his feet touched the hot water on the fire. He said, "Yow! Ouch!" He ran upstairs ran up the chimney, out the door, ran away, and decided to go eat a hamburger instead. And the three little pigs lived happily ever after in their strong brick house. The end. The three pigs had houses built out of different materials. Was the straw house strong enough? No. Was the stick house strong enough? No. But was the brick house strong enough? Yes. The big bad wolf couldn't blow it down because this little pig spent so much time building the house. He did a really good job with the construction, and the wolf could not blow it down. Do you like fairy tales like that? So do I. I like when there's a bad guy in the story, like a troublemaker. In this story, the troublemaker was the wolf. Yes, and there's a special word for the troublemaker in a story. Do you know that? There's a word that means that character is the troublemaker. And the word is antagonist. Can you say antagonist? That's a hard word, but you can do it. The big bad wolf was the antagonist in the story. He was the one causing all the trouble. I love reading fairy tales. We're going to read another little fairy tale at the end. But first, I thought we could make some house patterns. Remember, a pattern is when we make a line on the pocket chart and the pictures repeat. So the pictures that I have for us today are a straw house and a stick house and a brick house. And I also have some little pink pigs. Let's see if we can make a pattern with the straw house and the stick house. Will you help me say the patterns? So I have some straw houses and some stick houses. Let's put them up like this. Let's say straw, stick. Say it again. Straw, stick. Say it again. Straw, and what comes last? Stick. Let's point to the houses and make sure that the pattern repeats the whole way on the line. Are you ready? Say the words with me. Say straw, stick, straw, stick, straw, stick. Good. You made a pattern. Should we make a new pattern? Let's take these down. This time, let's make our pattern out of brick. And which other house should we choose? Brick and stick? Okay, let's do it together. Let's say brick, stick. That rhymes too. It's a rhyming pattern. And brick, stick. What comes next? Say them with me. Brick, stick, brick, stick. Did you say brick? Yes, you're right. Next comes brick, and then what is the last house? Let's read it and we'll try to figure it out together. Brick, stick, brick, stick, brick. Yes, stick, you're right. Oh, nice job making a brick stick pattern. Proud of you. Should we try one more pattern? Would you like to do one that's a tiny little bit harder this time? Let's use 3 different pictures instead of 2. Let's do straw, brick, and then let's do some pigs. Should we try it together? Okay, let's put them up here. This will be a long pattern. Say straw, brick, pig. That's a pattern. 3 things. Straw, brick, pig. And then we have to do it again. So say straw, brick. Good. And what comes next? Let's say it so we can check. Straw, brick, pig. Straw, brick. Yes, pig, you're right. We made a pattern with 3 different pictures. Straw, brick, pig. Straw, brick, pig. Could you keep it going? Straw, brick, pig. Yes, patterns just keep repeating over and over again. I have a book to read to you today, and it is a book about the three little rigs, not the three little pigs. A rig is a truck, a construction truck. And in this story, there's not a big bad wolf. Instead, there's a big bad, what would be big and bad in a construction site? Let's read it and find out. This book is called The Three Little Rigs by David Gordon. David Gordon did the words and the pictures, the whole book. Here's the title page. The Three Little Rigs, written and illustrated by David Gordon. Do you see that construction site there? There once were three little rigs who lived with their mama rig. She told them that the time had come for them to go out into the world and build their own garages. The first little rig went to a sawmill. He asked the loader for enough wood to build a steady garage. Make sure to use lots of nails, the loader said. The first little rig used his crane to place the wood planks. With the help of an air compressor and a nail gun, he made 4 walls, a roof, and a door. But the big, bad wrecking ball knocked on the door and said, little rig, let me come in." To which the little rig replied, "Not by the chrome on my chinny chin chin." This made the wrecking ball mad, so he said, "Then I'll crash, and I'll bash, and I'll smash your house in." "You just try," said the little rig. So the wrecking ball crashed, and he bashed, and he smashed the garage to pieces. It wasn't a wolf, it's a wrecking ball. The second little rig went to the stone cutting factory. He asked the conveyor for enough blocks to build a sturdy garage. "Make sure to use mortar," the conveyor said. The second little rig used his crane to place the stone blocks. A cement mixer helped him mix the mortar. He made 4 walls, a roof, and a door. But the big, bad wrecking ball knocked on the door and said, little rig, let me come in." To which the little rig replied, "Not by the chrome on my chinny chin chin." This made the wrecking ball mad, so he said, "Then I'll crash, and I'll bash, and I'll smash your house in." "You just try," said the little rig. So the wrecking ball crashed, and he bashed, and he smashed the garage to pieces. Oh, all that hard work. The third little rig went to the steel mill. He asked the pulley for enough beams to build a sturdy garage. "Make good welds," the pulley said. The third little rig used his crane to place the steel beams. A welder helped him. But the big, Bad Wrecking Ball knocked on his door and said, little rig, let me come in. To which the little rig replied, not by the chrome on my chinny chin chin. This made the Wrecking Ball mad, so he said, then I'll crash, and I'll smash, and I'll bash your house in. You just try, said the little rig. So the Wrecking Ball crashed, and he bashed, and he smashed, and he bashed, but he couldn't smash the garage to pieces. I'll be back, said the big, bad Wrecking Ball. Then the third little rig heard the honking of his brothers outside his door. He was very glad to see them. Together they would come up with a plan. Later that night, the big bad Wrecking Ball returned with the mean magnet and the cruel cutter. Little rig, let us come in, they said. To which the three little rigs replied, not by the chrome of our chinny chin chins. Then we'll crash, and we'll bash, and we'll smash your house in. Wait, shouted the third little rig as his brothers snuck out the back door. Save us, they cried to the cranes. The Wrecking Ball began to swing, the magnet began to pull, and the cutter began to cut at the third little rig's garage. Suddenly, the cranes lifted the dangerous three high into the air. Then the three little rigs and the cranes drove to the steel mill together. Look, the cranes came to help save the day, and I have a crane on my shirt. Do you see? There, the big bad Wrecking Ball, the mean magnet, and the cruel cutter were thrown into the melting pot. And the three little rigs all lived happily ever after in the steel garage. And that is the end. Isn't that a great book to read when we're talking about construction and the three little pigs? I hope you liked that story. I have a fun game that you can play at home to practice some building after the video is over. For this game, you need a partner and some blocks. And the way that you play this game is one person builds a construction, a little structure out of blocks like this. And then the other person has to try to copy it and make it look exactly the same. Do you think I can use these blocks to make it look exactly the same? Which colors do I need on the bottom? Red and blue. Good, let's put red and blue. And then which color comes next? Yes, yellow. You're right. Yellow right in the middle. And then what do I need next? A little green one and a little yellow one. And on the top, another little green one. Let's check them and see if they look the same. Do they look the same? Yes, that's how you play. One person builds and then the other person tries to copy. Would you like to see another example? This one is a little bit easier. Let's look and see if we can build it. Which colors go on the bottom? Green and red. Good, let's try to do that. We'll put green and red. And then which color goes in the middle? Blue, good. And on the top, this part is a little bit tricky. We have to make them hang off like this. Yellow and yellow. Let's see, do these two block structures look the same? Yes, and that is how you play the copycat game, the copycat construction game. One person builds, and then the other person tries to make it look exactly the same. If you decide to play that game with someone in your family today, I sure would love to see a picture of it. I love when you send me all of those notes and pictures so I can see how smart you are. It makes my heart go pitter-pat. Friends, I had fun learning the three little pigs, talking about how to build things with you today. But it's time for us to call Betsy to come back. Can you call her? 1, 2, 3. Say, Betsy, come back. Hello, friends. Oh, I like the three little pigs. Do you? Can you say, not by the hair of my chin? That's a fun line, isn't it, Betsy? Well, it's time for us to sing goodbye today. Here goes. Preschool time is over now, over now, over now. Preschool time is over now for another day. Wave goodbye to all of our friends, all of our friends, all of our friends. Wave goodbye to all of our friends. It's time to stay home and play. Hip, hip, hooray! Do you have some birdseed for Betsy? Okay, get a big handful of it out. Here is that is the play pack for yesterday. This is the play pack for today. It has some fun ideas for things you can do to keep playing and learning later. Betsy's hungry. 1, 2, 3. Ah. Thank you, friends. Here comes your kiss. Mwah. Catch it. Stick it to your cheek. Give yourself a great big hug from Miss Jamie and Betsy. We're proud of you. We can't wait to see you again tomorrow. Bye-bye, friends. Bye-bye. Thanks for the bird seed.